Good evening, guys. It's Lucas here with your RYLA routine for the week. I was supposed to meet Matt on here, but there's all I can see in my other screen is some green creature with the Santa hat on. I don't know where Matt is or who's abducted him, but um, I don't know.
What up, man?
So
So yeah, the Grinch, I mean, the Grinch found a new day, right? The Grinch, Cindy Lou helped the Grinch make it out and ended up having being a contributor to Christmas. So my favorite season. I think I said that last week with Bethany. Christmas is a really great time. I think it's the community and family piece that makes it great. And I couldn't think of a better person when we're talking community and family than Lucas Hatfield. What is up, man? Where are you at today? Uh, what do you got going on in life right now?
Well, currently I'm at my family's house. I'm helping my dad out, replacing a door and stuff. So trying to keep spirits high because it wasn't going the way we wanted it to. And I was like, hey, I got a meeting. Let's just take a break. And he's like, I need
you
that.
said your brother's there with you.
Brother left early to go
Oh,
hunting.
your
So
brother. Yeah, of
yeah.
course, right? It got difficult and you bounced. So,
Yeah.
brother attended RYLA, right?
No, he didn't.
No?
I had some not relatives, well, some like close friends who were like in Ryla. They never really went back to be Chiefs or anything, but
Sure. So how did you get engaged with RYLA? How did you get involved with RYLA?
so um junior year of high school, like everyone else, I had never heard of Ryla. Like I actually knew people the grade above me who went the year before, and like I knew them pretty well, and I don't remember them ever talking about it. But one day, I got a note from the principal, like the head principal. I'm like, what did I do? I was like, I don't really get in trouble or anything. I'm like, I don't
Sure.
think I did anything. And I go in there and I really like the guy. I mean, one of my favorite principals I've ever had. But he's like, kind of just like briefly told me about this camp, a leadership camp. He didn't really give me many of the details. He said it's come from teacher recommendations. You had a lot of teacher recommendations for you to go to this. Here's the dates you want to go. And surprisingly, I like instantly said yes. So like, I mean, freshman through sophomore year into junior year, I really was not involved that much. I was a student athlete, and that's about it. I was kind of going through the motions, not really involved in much. And I don't know, something in my heart literally just like sparked me to say yes.
Okay.
I walk out and I was like, what did I just say yes to? And like I knew I could have said, went back and said no, but I thought about it and I was like, I think I need this. Like, I mean, I'm a Christian and I really do believe it was a sign from God. Like,
Sure.
and I'm thankful I took that sign. So anyway, attended 2016, and then ever since then I've been back at CIT, chief a few times, leadership. I missed the post COVID year, so last year's or the year
Yeah.
before last, whatever. Um, I missed that one. I was teaching and coaching at the time. I couldn't get off. It was springtime baseball
Sure.
season, so
Yeah.
I couldn't get off for that. But I was really, really happy to come back this year and kind of see the resurgence. I mean, because I hadn't been to RYLA since before COVID, and it's like, holy
Right.
cow, it's forever.
What's your
But
when you think back to your camper year, what stood out?
um, about the camp itself, or maybe
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
personally
just
for me.
I mean, just in general, what were some highlights maybe about your camper year?
I was super intimidated, for sure. Like, you know, I'm not a fire type of personality. And like when I got to this camp, I was like, man, I might not, stand out that much because I'm not like these people who are like jumping up and down, screaming, yelling, and
Yeah.
everything. But when we got into the tribes, it's like, oh, these guys, these campers over here, they're like me. We're kind of similar. We're kind of more like withdrawn, or we're like the water types and stuff. So it definitely like I started to fit in more and felt really comfortable. Like one thing I always think about is like most of these kids are like strangers to each other,
Sure.
give or take. It depends on if they have a lot of classmates from their school. But like I was like so comfortable to like I guess get out of my little box because I didn't know these people. Like I was like, well, I probably won't see him again, so I'll take that leap, I'll take that jump or whatever. And then that kind of I feel like it's definitely impacted me down the road. Is like, I need to have that attitude all the time, not just because I don't think I'll see this person again or they'll judge me for this or that or something. But
When
that's kind of
when
what
it came
stood out is
when it came to camp itself, like if you think through, like I've been asking folks, like when you think about Thursday to Sunday, like your camper year, what was like one activity or something that I mean, that'd be a good experience or a bad experience, just like one activity that you're like, you know what, that made camp camp.
I always like the paracord, always like coming back to that. Just because I was that guy I was like probably maybe the third or fourth unblindfold. Not like the very first, but almost near the first.
Sure.
The wall especially seeing that the camaraderie of like everyone at the camp, like everyone cheering people on, like literally like either verbally or physically getting them over that wall.
Right.
That's another awesome moment for me, um, camper year wise, and obviously, I mean, as I continue through leadership, that's a kind of one thing that stands out.
A
Um,
lot of leaderships talked about, their camper year kind of coming back. Like you talked about the paracord activity. Nobody's really highlighted the paracord activity at a high level. What, as we started, the RYLA routine and we start these conversations, what about the paracord activity you think, like what provides success there, the outcome, that, for some it's extremely challenging. And for some it's, it is the breakthrough, for some
yeah.
campers. And for some tribes, it's the breakthrough. So, like, what
Mhm.
about the paracord activity do you feel like is a little bit of special?
Like you said, it's like it can be a breakthrough for some kids, like for me especially, like, and then other kids who are maybe that withdrawn water type or the earth type. They have to kind of step up. I mean, they have to take initiative. They can't, I guess, be complacent. They can't be complacent in that activity. I mean, if they want their team to succeed, they got to step up. And then those who want to control everything, your fires and everything, they need to give they need to give that freedom or that will to those kids who know don't usually step up or like is trying to take control of the group. I mean, they need to those fires or those more dominant people need to have a little self control and let those others kind of breathe and also succeed themselves.
Right. So when you talked about coming back, it's coming in 2016, and here we are in 2023. Um, what makes you? I mean, so you talked. I mean, like you're a professional. Like you have a professional career now. Like you're not Lucas isn't, a college student. Like, you got to provide for yourself and provide for, what's the future for Lucas. Like when you look at coming back to camp, like well, why come back? I mean, like I don't like hold anybody's feet to the fire and be like, you got to come back to camp. But like, why do you choose to continue to come back?
So I kind of was thinking about this earlier, and I think the best term for me to kind of like explain it is like I'm trying to pay it forward. From when I was a camper and kind of going up through CIT chief and everything, there were people investing in me, giving their time, their effort, their care, like everything towards me and other campers. And I feel like I need to reinvest that into the future generation. I mean, I can't be selfish and kind of keep my my knowledge or my wisdom that I can give others. I can't keep that to myself. I need to share it.
Sure.
There's a little story. There's like this story I learned in church camp. It's called the music box. It's like an old timey like movie story. And this guy, he's got a music box that he when he opens it, it plays this really good music or whatever. But he didn't want to share it with anyone. He's got this special gift that he doesn't want to share. So
Yeah.
that gift will actually eventually just go away. That was kind of the premise of the story. So I feel like if I have a gift or a talent that I'm good at and I can maybe express to others, I need to share that and not
Yeah.
be selfish and keep it to myself.
I hear it. Okay. I love it. I love it. And I think it's, it's so fitting. I know I talked to you briefly like before we got on the call. I was like, hey, like I had a crazy amazing week in Kansas City with the YMCA this week. We actually took our team up from Tulsa and spent about 22 of us, and we spent 3 days together in Kansas City just to get out of Tulsa and kind of have some deeper conversation. And one of our gentlemen that we had asked to come in was his name's Dan Mears. Do you know who Dan Mears is by chance?
I feel like that name sounds familiar.
Dan Mears is the Kansas City Chiefs mascot.
Oh, okay. Casey
Like
Wolf, yeah.
he is KC Wolf. And I'm sitting there like, and I had done I had all the conversations, like teeing this dude up, like getting him to come, and like I'm sitting there hanging out, and he comes in and he's got like the mascot head, and like everybody finally understands, like, oh, this is who the guy is, and he's got like his championship rings, and like he's talking about all these awesome things. Well, then he talks about the fact that in 2006 he had an accident, like a zip lining accident from the lights at Arrowhead. He was supposed to zip line in on a bungee, like he was going to zip
Oh,
and then bungee in. And when he
yeah.
jumped, there was so much slack in the line. He went 70 feet to the ground and took out a
Oh,
section of seats, broke 7 ribs, collapsed lung. And like he's talking about all this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's 2006, and like this guy should, like, you're not supposed to survive that. Well, then he starts
yeah.
talking about he carries a coin around, and his big spiel about his big topic, his big nugget is about how you spend your coin,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
like every day is a choice, right? And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my god, like this is like really we're getting close to like the alignment of like what we're talking about at camp with jelly beans, and like you only got so many jelly beans, and like, and then we start talking about it. At camp we talk about it's a new day, and Lucas, no lie, I'm sitting there and this guy's like, so I go, if you walk in my office at Arrowhead, he's like, on my office, he's like, there's this poem, and he starts reciting the new day, and I'm like,
Oh,
in my time, now granted, I got the new day given to me in 2001. In my time, as from 2001 of August to today, the only time and only people I have ever heard talk about the new day is people at RYLA or Seminole State baseball. That's it. And this dude verbatim starts
oh
saying
my
the new
gosh.
day. And so I'm just sitting there like, I was like, like just trying to be professional. I'm like, I want to like stand up and start reciting it with him because like I'm fired up. I'm
That'd
like,
be some, like,
absolutely, this
chills. Just be like,
gets it. Like we're talking about being an investor, we're talking about spending our coin, and then we're talking about a new day. Like, this is my guy, right?
yeah.
I'm like, this is our people. KC Wolf is one of us. Like, this dude gets it, right?
How much Chiefs do know?
Right. I'm like, I don't even like. I mean, I'm like a closet Cowboys fan, and all of a sudden, like, go Chiefs! Like, I just want KC Wolf. Like, so I'm walking him out because, like, I'm walking him out to his car. Again, I'm just trying to, like, I was kind of the person that got him there, and they said, "Hey, Matt, call this guy," and I never knew what he was or what he did. Our team said this would be a good person to speak, so I made the phone call and had a conversation with him. And I was walking Dan to his car, and I just stopped him. And so here's the crazy thing. So this was on Thursday. Thursday morning, actually Wednesday night, because I schedule all of our Facebook and Instagram. I schedule them typically a night before, 2 days before. The night before, the post for Thursday is from Friday night with me in my New Day shirt and Caleb in the background on the screen.
Mhm.
And it's from Agree Disagree. And I told him, I said, I have to show you something. And like, I showed him that picture, and he immediately saw the shirt. And he said, tell me about the shirt. And I said, well, it's funny you asked that because that's why I was showing you the picture, is because on the back of the shirt is exactly what you just said, and started telling him about the new day. And so on Monday, am sending Dan 2 t-shirts. One is a t-shirt for Dan. My second is like the world's longest, like full court shot, is to try to get
Oh,
one big enough to where maybe Dan would take a picture with the shirt on, and like we could have like a little bit of a moment of like the awesomeness of the Kansas City Chiefs mascot But Dan is like 100% all in on a new day. And I know that means so
That's
much for so many kids.
awesome.
And like, I know as a former athlete, like you being an athlete, me being an athlete, you know, I think we understand the desire to be the best, the desire to be the best, you know, to be better. And just to stand there and hear him, like, I mean, I was fired up. I could have ran through a freaking wall. So I say all that to say, like, you know, like a new day is up for a lot of people. Like that is their RYLA moment, right? Like that's their thing that like grabs them, and you know, like if it's something associated to agree, disagree, whatever it may be. But like, what's like a moment in camp, a specific time at camp? You know, we talked about the wall with the young lady going over the wall with Aaron, and I think so many different things happen at camp, like where each individual has their moments at camp. Like, do you have a
Mhm.
you have a RYLA moment that just sticks out?
It's yeah, I mean, it's hard to narrow down, but like my camp, like it was more of a, like I guess like a big moment. So like my camper year was a really big step in my life. So like before I went to RYLA, honestly, like I was deadly afraid of like speaking in front of people, like like maybe like voicing my opinion in front of a big group or like public speaking, stuff like that. Like at RYLA and after, like I started to kind of overcome that fear. I switched my major. Well, like I was like about freshman year of college. I switched my major to education because I mean, I just really enjoyed,
Yeah.
not just teaching, but like mentoring, trying to be a good role model. Um, and that was like a big moment. Like I know 100%, no doubt, RYLA pushed me in that direction, and be I wouldn't be speaking in front of people and teaching kids if it wasn't for
Yeah.
just kind of getting out of that little box I was in. Like
Sure.
like I was nervous to share my mission statement. Like I had some other campers in my group who were trying to get me up there, and I was like no. I was like so stubborn. I sat down, and it wasn't until they like all walked away and stopped pushing me that I actually did get up. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, I'll get up there." And like ever since then, I mean, just every time I go back, I just feel like I learn new things. Like, when I teach and coach, I tell my kids all the time, like, I do not know everything. Like, I enjoy this because you guys teach me stuff. You
Yeah.
guys do teach me how to be a better leader, how to be a better person, and I want to hope to like model that for you guys. Like, I am
Yeah.
not done growing. I'm not done learning. Like, that's my biggest thing, growth mindset. I mean, it's part of
I
my
love
mission
it.
statement. I love a growth mindset. I mean, process over outcome. Like, so.
So tell me, you know, you say process over outcome and that growth mindset. I mean, tell us a little bit, you know, talk about as we kind of tie up this thing here, as we talk about being a great leader and we talk about being an exceptional leader, like what are some skills or qualities about being a great leader that you think you could share with others that folks that are watching this today could benefit from?
One that I feel like I do pretty good at, I guess. I don't want to like brag. It's kind of like um, I guess relate to some like more sensitive groups of people. Like I said, I'm more of like a water, so I can I'm very adaptable and flexible. I feel like, and
Sure.
I'm thanks to RYLA, I'm especially good at seeing the differences, like, in the elements, and then also like the strengths and weaknesses of either kids I'm teaching, kids I'm coaching, kids at RYLA. I feel like I can kind of get on their level and kind of relate with them and kind of, I don't know, calm things down. Like I can kind of calm the waters, I guess, and just I guess, be sensitive to, you know, maybe when to push them and when not to. I've always feel like I've been a good, I guess, judge of character.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like I know when the right time is and when it isn't. I can,
Yeah.
I have that patience to push or pull anyone who I'm trying to lead, my students, athletes, things like that.
Awesome. 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 Well, I think, you know, as you talk about that, really what the judge, it's almost like the opportunity to kind of judge, read the room.
Yeah.
Like I think you're that's what I would say. Like what is I think is a great skill of as Lucas is like I think it's as a leader being willing to stand back at times and kind of take its perspective, right? Like take in
Yeah.
the whole room. And
Yeah.
as a coach, I think you have to do that with a team, right? Like I'm putting nine
Yeah.
guys in a batting lineup. Like I got everybody's got their strengths, and like I got to be able to put people in the right spot to be successful. And that may mean I step back
Yeah.
at times throughout the season, at times throughout practice, and like look at it from a different angle, or what play a lot of what ifs. And I think that definitely, as you talk about your element, that's something that your element has the ability to do that a fire doesn't. A fire is going to stay foot on the gas and stay in front of it probably,
Mhm.
and push more than pull.
Yeah.
And I think that what you're saying is very true, and that's that as a leader, um, having perspective, and that's 110% what I believe you have, as a person. And I think that's what I would say if somebody's asked me about Lucas's leadership style. I'd say his perspective. You do look at things from multiple different angles. And if one way doesn't work, I think you're very that also gives you a nimble flexibility to be able to kind of move into a different place
Yeah.
and not just stand in the same place and bang your head off. Not like a
Yeah.
woodpecker. Like okay, let's go to the other side of the tree. You know, and I think that's mission critical for so many, and it's something that people can learn from water.
Yeah.
And it does take time though, because it take first thing you have to do
Yeah.
is you have to shut your mouth. If
Yeah.
you're not that person, you got to shut your mouth so you can have perspective,
Yeah.
because the mouth will
Patience.
outrun
Yeah.
the head.
Mhm.
So as we kind of tie this thing up, anything else you feel like would be beneficial? Anything you want to talk about, or anything? We're like I said, here we are. It's the 10th of December, 15 days away from Christmas. Um,
Yeah.
well, we have a couple more RYLA routines before we hit December 25th. And then we got Mr. Elijah next week. But anything you want to share?
Nothing much. Not much. Just I'm really glad I got to start coming back again, post COVID and everything. I really missed it. Really missed everyone. And I kind of thought about this the other day. It's like I don't see my Ryla family that much. We're all like spread out and everything, but it's like back at camp, it's like we didn't. It's like we maybe just saw each other the other day. It's not like it feels
Yeah,
like we're close like that. Like we haven't skipped a beat, and I really appreciate that about camp. And it's just I know for a fact that radiates to like everyone who's there. Like
yeah,
they see our relationships up high in leadership staff, and it kind of just scaffolds down. And I feel like that kind of affects camp as a whole. Just that whole atmosphere. I feel like that family atmosphere is like great about camp for sure.
yeah. I think the family component definitely is huge, and that's again, that's why I think I love Christmas so much.
Yeah.
It's because for most people, it is a family. It is a time of family. People put things to the side and do slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got to do. We've got to invest in other people. We got to take some time to invest and pause on ourselves too. And my hope would be that
Yep.
this week, people do just that. Look for an opportunity to invest in somebody else. Look for an opportunity to spend some time on yourself as well. And as I said with Dan, he talked about the coin. Look at how you choose to spend your jelly bean this week. Keep investing in yourself through the new day, and investing in others. And Lucas, thanks for being on the RYLA routine. We got Elijah Payton next week. We already got that teed up, ready to go in the box. Elijah will join me next week. But Lucas, thanks for your time. And RYLA, thank you a lot. You are awesome.